Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the August 21st edition of the Hughes Sports Podcast. I am your host, of course, Jake Hughes. Alongside me, the old man. Old man, how the hell are you doing?
I'm kind of concerned, to be honest. I'm thinking that I might have to mute you more than once tonight.
I don't think so. I've eaten food. I've calmed
Did
down
you
from when
eat?
we were, I ate some food.
Okay,
Calmed down from when we originally talked.
Because you were kind of cranky, hangry.
100%. I was cranky. I was grumpy. It was a day. Today was a day, and near the end of the day, people and news were just making me angry. So I said, screw it. Let's still do a live podcast.
So you got to be more like me, calm, cool, don't get excited. Did I mention my throat is really sore today from yelling at my TV?
Yeah, I was gonna say, why would your throat be sore today? Just a little bit of yelling and excitement at the Lions game.
I'm still not over it, I'm still not.
I mean, I know we're gonna get into it a little bit later in the show, but
did you see the post the video I posted of that hit, the hit on Vernon where the fucking guy basically clotheslined him?
The clotheslined him, or the grabbed him from behind, or hit him in the back of the head.
No, it's when he went this way.
Yeah, and then but there was the guy he hit right behind him.
Yeah.
And
then there was the Randy the Macho Man Savage off the top of the cage elbow to his thigh.
No, the elbow.
Riders
the elbow
are the
to
dirtiest goddamn team in the CFL this year.
I'll 100% agree with that, because there are hits in that game that I have not seen anywhere else.
So many low hits.
Low hits, or again, there was a multiple, especially on special teams, where they'd come in and dive with their head.
Yes. There were so many of those where I'm like, whatever happened to leading with your head?
Chart spearing, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to a football seminar, like an officiating seminar on Thursday.
Oh, are you?
Where one of the big things we're going to be talking about is unnecessary roughness penalties, but also they're bringing in a new concussion protocol.
Oh.
To junior football. So like Pee Wee, Adam, Bantam are bringing in a concussion protocol.
Interesting.
I would have thrown a flag on that. Wholeheartedly. I would have thrown a flag for leading with the head or charging, whatever you want to call it. Unnecessary roughness, rough play.
You can call it whatever you want. It's got to be taken out of the game, in my opinion.
If you want people to take the fact that you're trying to be a serious organization about injuries, you need to take those plays out of the league.
Well, it's just and I know we're gonna bitch about the Lions because yes, we're homers. Somebody called me a homer on CFL Chatter the other day, which is a Facebook group, and I laughed and went, "Well, thank you." Yeah. Of course, I'm a freaking homer. Are you an idiot?
Like, I always love that. Well, you're just a fan of that team. Yeah, I am.
Or I like the most famous is you make a post on Facebook and then people come on on your post. They come on your post. They take the time to look for your post, and then they come on your post and say, "Well, you're nobody. Why do we care?" Well, you cared enough to make a fucking comment on my post, you moron.
Well, and not just that, but I always love it because it's like, if you know anything about Facebook and the algorithm and things like that, it likes comments. It likes people liking the button. It likes discussion back and forth. And that's why most of the time you'll see on your Facebook feed posts with a bunch of comments. Even if you don't follow that page, you're going to see a bunch of posts with people commenting back and forth, whether it's positive or negative. Most of the time it's negative because people are just bitter and grumpy and dumb on Facebook.
Well, and that's why you always want to make sure you're commenting on people's comments. Yep. Because it just adds to the algorithm. And yes, we are here to get noticed. That's why we do the show, folks. Hello.
Wait.
It's
question.
Jake. He streams live. It's Kevin the Medium. That's what we do.
I mean, you're being recognized now, so you're getting to be a pretty big deal.
I'm getting to be a pretty big deal in my own head, yes.
Uh,
And it was funny because I asked Rod this question, Rod Peterson. He's famous. I asked him, I said, people are like assuming that I'm an expert on the CFL. And he goes, well, because if we say it over and over, people believe it.
It's true. You will forever be known as Kevin the Medium,
the guru of the CFL,
the CFL guru. But before we get into the CFL, Mr. Guru.
Okay, guru man. We're gonna talk trades and boring shit.
No, we're gonna talk. Oh. We're gonna talk one hockey subject, and we're gonna keep it to under 4 minutes.
I'm timing you.
And then we're gonna talk about some NFL stuff, and then get into some CFL stuff.
How's NFL? Oh, I like it. I could get into some NFL talk right now.
Okay, so first thing in the NHL we're gonna talk about is Captain Serious. One Jonathan Toews is stepping away from the NHL this year. He is not retiring. He doesn't have a contract with any team. I wonder if he's stepping away because no one really offered him a contract. This was the conversation that the old man thought I was being grumpy about. He is stepping away to get healthy after 2 years ago fighting long COVID and some other autoimmune issues, I believe it is.
Yes.
He's been back in the league for 2 years.
Yes.
Played 124 games with 68 points. So down from his normal production, but still pretty good for a terrible Chicago Blackhawks team. Two questions for you. And again, we're trying to keep this nice and tight and quick. 2 questions for you. One, he never mentions the word long COVID. It is 100% the media's narrative that he is leaving due to long COVID reasons. How can a player whose peak performance, and I'm asking you because you have long COVID, for those who don't know, you struggle with it every day.
Every single day.
How can a player come back to the top league in any sport and play 124 games over 2 years with long COVID?
Because people don't understand, and that's the conversation you and I were heading to, and finally I just had to stop because you weren't listening to any type of reason. And people have to understand long COVID's, we don't understand it yet.
Correct.
It's like when polio first came in. They didn't understand it quite yet. Long COVID's the same way. There's days I could run up the flight of stairs I have at the house, and it doesn't affect me. There's other days I slowly walk up the flight of stairs, and I can barely effing breathe. So take that to when you're a top level athlete. Yes, he's going to be healthy enough at times to play the game, but he's probably really effing struggling to do it. I live it. I know I can fake it and make it look like I'm fine, and then go around a corner and just like bend over with my hands on my knees, trying to get the pain in my chest to go away. So do we fake it as people with LC, long COVID? Yes, we do, because it's not one of those conditions where it's visible. It's not like I have a big gash in my forehead, or I got a cast on my arm, or my leg, the bone in my leg's poking out. So yeah, can he play 2 years? Yes, he can. Simple answer.
I honestly, and I don't not believe in long COVID. I believe he has or had symptoms of long COVID. He also has, and I looked it up here. I want to make sure I get it right. It is immune response syndrome. Which makes it even worse. Exactly, right? So 100% reason to miss seasons, to miss games, that I get.
Now does this mean that I like Jonathan Toews? Do I back him?
No,
am I a fan of him? Absolutely fucking not.
No.
He's a piece of shit in my books.
This is
a literal piece of shit.
This is literally just the human himself, and we're not talking like the person he is. This is just the human side effects. I
Exactly.
personally believe, and you'll find a few people who have said it, been outspoken enough to say it, that yes, COVID hit him hard. I believe this year he's dealing more with mental issues, things that he could have done coming back to haunt him, than he is dealing with physical symptoms. And the only reason I say that is you've played 53 games last year in the top NHL league. And I know it comes and goes. You don't play over half a season if you're not healthy. The league won't allow you. Brandon Sutter, the league won't allow you.
Well, he's coming back.
Good
though.
organizations
he still
won't
has
allow
long
you.
COVID, and he's coming back. He has a tryout with the Edmonton Oilers.
He has, exactly. But he's been out of the league for 4 years, 3.5 years.
But you got to remember, again, that's the thing about long COVID is not everybody suffers the same way. Hey, this a-hole that we call Jonathan, who's a piece of shit human being in my books,
Yes.
it could be a lot of brain issues. Because I know there's days I go to pick up this glass of, and I can't get that word. What is that thing inside my glass? And it's weird because I'm only 59 years old, and there's times where I think I'm going nuts. I think I'm losing my mind because I can't think of what that is. There's other days where I can remember everything that happened to me or everything we've done through your whole entire life. Yeah. So, yes, I honestly believe he could play a full 2 seasons, and you say, oh, he's coming off because of his mental health, because of things that happened in the past. Could be.
Which is still a valid reason to step away. By the way, I'm not saying... Thank you. It's a very valid reason to step away. I think we need to get off this narrative that, well, it's long COVID. It's the only thing it could be. We don't know what's going on in the guy's life. He clearly doesn't want to talk about it.
And you know what? Then if as you and I, as people in the industry of sports reporting, because that's what we are now,
yep,
we shouldn't frown on the guy or put in quotation marks, get healthy, and say...
It's quotation marks because it's a direct quote from him.
But when you and I were talking, you were literally saying it was, maybe it's because he isn't good enough to play anymore.
That is not what I said at all. You need to go back. You need to go back and read.
You were insinuating that's what it was.
Well, I mean, I'm insinuating now on the air that, I mean, it's August 21st and he doesn't have a contract with any team. Is that because he didn't want a contract? Could be. Is it because he didn't get a contract?
And what I'm saying is, as professionals, we should stay away from speculating on his reasons and respect his reasons. I respect his... You got to let me finish this, because I respect his reasons for stepping away. I don't respect the man.
Correct.
Cool.
And that was part two. That was part two to my question. If Jonathan Toews calls it a career right now, getting away from the medical side, if Jonathan Toews calls it a career right now, if he actually announces retirement, he'd be able to be honored in the Hall of Fame in 3 years. Is he first off, is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? Secondly, is he a Hall of Famer in general?
Well, if he goes to the Hall of Fame and someone like a Theo Fleury doesn't go to the Hall of Fame, we're talking double fucking standards with the Hall of Fame.
100%.
And there can't be. What happened in Chicago is put a stain on the National Hockey League for years to come. They're trying to forget about it. They're trying to bury it.
I was going to say, they're not even trying to sweep it under the rug. They're just saying, move on. It's in the past.
They're just acting like it didn't happen. So will he? Yeah, I think he will end up in the Hall of Fame, which will be bullshit. I'll go to the Hall of Fame and I'll spit on his freaking... Yeah.
He had, don't get me wrong, I didn't like him as a hockey player because of the rivalry with Vancouver in the late aughts. Yeah, you took over that conversation. The late aughts, early 10s, there was that rivalry with the Canucks.
We hated him. For
We
different
hated him.
reasons.
But as a hockey player, I could respect him. Taking away again, but taking a step back, he was a great hockey player. He had this image of the captain series, no funds allowed on my team, blah 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 blah, and then you find out about this.
So does what happen off the ice? What happen? Oh my goodness! Should what happen off the ice be a determining factor whether you get into the Hall of Fame?
Ask Theo Fleury.
Ask AB3.
Ask Pete Rose.
That was my next one, right? There's 3 different sports, 3 different people that have been banned, basically, without being banned from ever entering the Hall of Fame. And I don't know. It's kind of dumb in my opinion, but
Chad Ochocinco.
So how can we say that AB3 AB3 should be in the CFL Hall of Fame because he did nothing wrong. He sued the league because he felt his team forced him to play when he had a head injury. After going and telling his coaches he had a head injury, and they still forced him to play or he wouldn't be paid. He told that story when he was on the air with us. We have to have him back on soon.
Yes, we do.
So yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, we could debate that. That would be a great debate for maybe the All-Star break in the NHL.
Yeah, because there's a handful of athletes that aren't in their respective Hall of Fames due to off-field, off-ice issues away from the sports. So all sorts of issues.
I think too many people get put in the Hall of Fame. I think the Hall of Fame needs to be more elite.
That's a very interesting take that we can discuss at a later time.
I don't know why I said that. I just felt like
I wholeheartly agree. I wholeheartedly disagree with you.
You think too many? You think not enough people get put into the Hall of Fame, or too many?
I think it's the right I think it's the right amount.
Okay.
And I'm just going based off the Hockey Hall of Fame class for 2023. I'm going to pull it up here.
I think only one person should get put in a year.
Sorry, for 2022. 2022, because it's the class that I knew. Daniel Alfredson, Roberto Luongo, Daniel Sedin, Henrik Sedin. In the player category for NHL players.
That's it?
4 players.
Okay, that's not too many then. I guess I was just making shit up again.
One builder, Herb Carnegie, and I believe a Finnish player that I've never heard of, Riikka Salinainen.
Sure.
But yeah, I think we're at the right amount.
Holy crap, dude. I know nobody can see this, but about 100 birds just flew into a tree out the side here. I'm not kidding, like a good 100. The whole sky went dark. Anyways,
while we get the old man back to sports talk, let's get his opinion on this. Nathan Rourke, because I know you were listening to the Rod Peterson show today. Nathan Rourke has officially been declared the 3rd string quarterback or the 3rd QB on Jacksonville.
QB3.
Basically, QB3. Well, there's no guarantee he's going to be QB3 because more than likely they're not going to carry 3 QBs into the season.
Well, the thing with the new rule with the NFL, though, is you can carry that 3rd QB and on your roster, and it doesn't count towards your numbers.
They still have to go through waivers, though.
No, because that's the new rule. That's a lot of people are missing that. If you want to put him on the practice squad, then he's got to go through waivers. But
interesting,
they can dress 3 QBs, and I looked this up because I was like, hold on, didn't they bring in a rule this year? That and I want you to look it up and see, because I looked it up and that's how I interpreted it, is you can carry a 3rd quarterback and it doesn't count towards your 53 players.
It was in effect from 1991 to 2010.
No, now it comes, and they reinstated it now. It used to be that way, and now they're bringing it back. We're Googling, folks. That's what we're doing.
You need to carry this for a second.
QB3 rule.
The league's owners passed a bylaw that will have a significant impact on the upcoming season. The bylaw will permit each team to field an emergency quarterback on game days that will not count against the team's 46-man active roster.
Yeah.
So it's an e-bug. It's an emergency backup goalie situation.
Well, go ahead.
From my understanding of this is that the way it's worded, at least from the CBS Sports article I'm reading, is that they can't be like, they're not part of your active roster, so they can't be at practice. They're not on your practice squad, so they can't be at practice, but they can be your third QB, your emergency backup.
Well, I heard the way I understand it, they could be part of your roster. They're just not counted for the 53 people on your roster. Yes, you get to dress 46 for the game, but you have 53 on your roster. And the rule is, if you put that third string quarterback or QB3 in the first, second, or third quarter, QB1 and QB2 cannot play the remainder of that game. If you put them in the fourth quarter, QB1 and QB2 can play the rest of the game. So the question is, do they keep him as QB3? They will not let him go to practice roster. You can cross that off that list because that's giving the guy away. So it's either going to be they're going to keep him as QB3 or they're going to trade him.
Okay, so the wording on this, and this is right from the NFL's bylaw technical terminology.
Mm-hmm.
Each club may also designate one emergency third quarterback from its 53-player active-inactive list.
Yeah.
So they're on the active-inactive list.
So that's part of that
eligible to be activated.
That's part of that 53-team roster. You can dress 46 of them. So you can dress, or whatever that number is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but you can also dress QB3. He just doesn't count in that 46 or in the 53 unless, and the rule is, unless you put him in the first, second, or third quarter of a game, then QB1 and QB2 can't play again that game. So if you put him in QB, if your two quarterbacks get hurt in the first quarter or the first two quarters and you put him in 3, he has to play the rest of the game.
No, that is not the case anymore.
I'm sure that's what I read.
That's from the old rule.
Is it?
So it's saying here, sorry, I'm reading this for the first time.
Yep.
So if the club's first two quarterbacks on its game day active list are not able to participate in the game due to injury or disqualification, that's when they become eligible. If either of the injured quarterbacks is cleared by the medical staff to return to play, the emergency third quarterback must be removed from the game and is not permitted to play quarterback or any other position, but is eligible to return to the game to play quarterback if another emergency third quarterback situation arises. So
interesting.
Guy gets taken out early in the game, like QB1 gets taken out with a broken arm. QB2 takes a hit to the head, has to go into concussion protocol.
Or gets pissed off and punches somebody.
Or I'm thinking concussion protocol.
Yeah.
Comes out of concussion protocol, is cleared. Instantly, as soon as that happens, there has to be a swap. It's not the next set of downs. It's as soon as they're cleared to play, there has to be a swap.
Oh, okay.
I want to know, and it doesn't state here, I want to know if that's from your 53-man roster, right? How many teams last year carried a third quarterback on their 53-man roster? I don't think that many.
But that's because last year, that third string quarterback counted towards your 53. Now it doesn't, from what I'm understanding.
No, it counts towards your 53-man roster. It doesn't count towards your active list of 47 or 48 players.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So again, from my initial reading of this and how I understand it. So it'll count towards your 53 players. So it's like having a third quarterback that you don't have to activate, which allows you to have your full list of available players.
So I guess the question is, will they keep him on the 53-man roster? Because if not, then they got to put him on the practice squad. Well, guess what? To go on the practice squad, you have to clear waivers. He ain't clearing waivers. Now,
again, we've talked about it before, and we'll probably find out very soon because I think there's 2 more weeks of preseason? 1 more week of preseason?
September, middle of September, isn't it? Just before I go away.
September 7th is the first game. So we have this weekend and next weekend of preseason.
Right.
We will know, I assume, by the end of this weekend, if he's going to be put on waivers. Because the way Jacksonville's got to look at it is, are we putting this guy on waivers or are we trying to trade him? Because you have to have those conversations. Even if it's a 4th round pick, a 5th round pick, at least you're getting something for him rather than nothing.
They're not going to put him on waivers. There's no way they'll put him on waivers. There's one of two things will happen. He'll be on the 53-man roster or they'll trade him. And the reason I say that is you put him on waivers, he's going to be picked up, will he not?
If you call around to teams, I mean, it happens in the NHL. You call around to teams and say, hey, you know what, unfortunately, we got to put Rourke on the practice squad. We don't want to do it. Would you guys pick him up? We don't know. Tell you what, you can get it done now. And it's a 5th round pick. You get him for next week's preseason. You get him for a week early.
Yeah.
Give us a 5th round, whatever the round pick it is that they want.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll get back to you. And you call every team and you do that. And if no one calls you back, no one cares enough to even offer a 5th round pick. They're probably not picking him up off the waiver wire.
But off the waiver wire, it doesn't cost them anything.
Cost them a roster spot. You can't claim someone off waivers and put them on the practice squad.
No, but you get a kid like Nathan Rourke.
You want to give him to me, that 1 week extra of practice time in training camp is worth that 5th round pick for a potential back.
For sure.
Right? It's
literally and
sorry, 1 week left of preseason. Thank you, John.
Is that John Hughes? Is that like Blockstar John Hughes?
I don't know. We'll find out. But we will find out what's going on with Rourke before we have our next podcast. That's my guess. That's my bet.
See, and when I was talking to Joe Madden, she's an NFL reporter, she agreed with me. 4th week, we'll know the 4th week of the season. He will be traded.
I think that's
within the first 4 weeks of the season, he'll be traded. So, we'll see. It's a great talking point. He's lit it up. I love the fact that we're talking about him because the kid deserves a chance. Mark my words. He's going to be an effing superstar. Oh, it's Brother Jack.
Brother Jack. Hello, Uncle Jack.
He's going incognito with his real name, John. Because apparently Jack is short for John. Figure that one out. Things that make you go,
And some people who are named John
What's
go by
Brother
Jack. I was getting into arguments with people yesterday on many of the Facebook groups about Nathan Rourke because certain members of certain teams, Smurf Mafia mainly,
Winnipeg,
believe that their quarterback is better than Nathan Rourke because they won the Western Final last year. And while I understand their sentiment, they don't understand that football is a team sport and that no matter how good one player is on the team, you can be beat by a team playing a full game. On top of that, if Collaros was better than Rourke, he wouldn't still be in the CFL, period. End of story.
Oh, but he wants to be in the CFL. He doesn't want to go to the NFL because he loves.
Yeah, right. You know what?
Jake. You're not listening. You're not listening, Jake. Jake, listen. He loves Winnipeg, and he would.
I'd much rather make
the NFL.
I'd much rather make $100. I'd much rather make $250,000 a year
than $1 million
playing in playing in Winnipeg, where mosquitoes could carry you off at any moment, where the fan base is literally insane. Or tell you what, I'll give you 4 times your salary to go play in football during warm times anywhere in places that have roofs where fans actually care about things. And for the most part, he's going to be sitting on his ass looking at a clipboard.
But he loves game. He loves the game.
Just like Bo Levi. I'm sorry. I heard this earlier on the RP show.
Oh
There's no way Bo Levi turned down a contract in the NFL.
Who said that?
End of story. Talk to your pal Rod.
Did he say that?
He said that he decided it was better to not be fighting in the NFL, and he decided to come back to the CFL to play for Calgary when he went down to the NFL.
Maybe he just wasn't good enough.
But let's get into why he isn't good enough. I mean, the fact that he can't take a hit, and his Hamilton Tiger Cats lose. His Hamilton Tiger Cats lose to the Edmonton Elks.
The one week I need Edmonton to lose. 1 week. I had a $5 frickin' bet that would have won me $65, but no. Edmonton has to go and break their 0-9 streak.
Let's go, Edmonton. Honestly, I did not see any of the game. I was busy working, so I could not watch the game.
Always an excuse for you. You always have an excuse.
I watched every other game.
It's like you have a life or something.
I know. Boo me. Sorry for having a life.
Anyway, it was a game. Yeah, it was a game.
It was a game.
Can we stop the name change bullshit?
Yeah, you know what? That's the only thing I want to talk about this game. Can we call them the Alex now, like the EWKS, because now they got to win? Like, people are like, oh, you don't put an L in your name because all you'll do is lose. No, now they got to win. Can we stop with that? Can we please stop with that? Can we please stop it? The Eskimo team name is done. It's over with. Finito. Can we stop?
Can you say finito without getting us canceled?
Finito. Yes, I can.
Okay. I think you're being racist, but let's move on. My mic's really bugging me tonight. I don't know why.
I can tell you keep fidgeting with it.
Yeah.
I don't have much to talk about this game. Do you have anything?
No, except the fact they cost me $65. Thank you very much.
All right, we will move on.
And Jack wants you to know Caleros makes $600,000 a year, not $750,000.
Sorry. No, I said $250,000.
Oh.
Sorry. So again, still double his salary to go play clipboard holder.
Yes.
Friday night, I luckily get a call from you about midday saying, I have a free ticket. You want to come sit at the 55-yard line? As we watch the Stamps shoot themselves in the foot yet again. And I'm going to repeat that again. Jake Maier and the Stampeders shoot themselves in the foot again and lose a game by 1 point.
And yet, the Smurf Mafia on CFL Chatter Facebook group, go check them out, go fucking mental, and they want to start planning a freaking Grey Cup parade because they've won, and now they're
Wait. They already had it planned. They started planning it last year.
Oh, I know.
Colaris is the God's gift to the Canadian Football League.
They lost, didn't they? I think they lost the Grey Cup.
Oh no, they didn't lose.
So I'm going to interrupt because I gotta go back to Jack. Rourke on the practice roster would make more than $200,000. Jack, I'm sorry, you're wrong. Carry on, Jake.
The CFL screwed them. The CFL screwed the Bombers out of their dynasty performance. Didn't you know?
Yes, of course. So just so we have this correct, Rourke will earn a base salary of $750,000 and a signing bonus of $500,000, while carrying a cap hit of $751,000 and a dead cap value of $220,000. That's where you get the $200,000, Jack. He's getting a base salary of $750,000 to sit on the practice roster,
plus his signing bonus, which will be his total will be 1.25.
No, 5,000 was his signing bonus.
I thought you said 5. I thought you said 50,000, 500,000.
No, 5,000.
5,000. Okay.
And then, add in the bonuses he'll get if he. I mean, I don't know if there was any bonuses for preseason. I doubt it. But if he gets in and plays a game, he can make over $1 million a year.
Yeah.
So, anyway, carry on.
Yeah. It was a fun game. The most boring first half of a game I've ever seen. Apparently, no one wanted to score a touchdown. Even still in the second half, no one wanted to score.
Fun. It was damn cold, dude.
Okay.
We should have had our parkas.
The wind came up. Okay. The amount of people I saw in their winter jackets at 8 degrees. We live in Calgary. In 3 months, it's going to be minus 25 Celsius. And you guys are all like, oh, it's freaking out.
Dude, it was cold.
There was a stretch right at the end of the first half where the wind picked up and it was chilly. After that, after the wind died down, it was fine.
Did someone go and get a hot chocolate when they first got to the arena, to the stadium?
Yes.
Oh, why did you get a hot chocolate? Why did you get a hot chocolate? Because why? Because you were cold.
Because it's $2 cheaper than a bottle of water.
That is a true story. Now, can we bitch about the concession stands at McMahon? Should we?
Okay, let's get through. Wait. Let's get through the game first. Let's talk about the game and then talk about the.
I don't want to talk about the game because any team. I got to put your high school team out against the Bombers that game, and your high school team would have beat the fucking Bombers. So the Bombers sucked that game, okay? They didn't score a touchdown, an offensive touchdown the whole game. It was all field goals and one interception for a touchdown. Give it a rest.
Which is where Jake Meyer shot the Stampeders in the foot.
Oh, insanity.
Like the inaccuracy from both Collaros and Jake Meyer that night, plus the amount of balls that we saw hit people dead in the hands.
Collaros didn't play. Sorry,
Drew Brown.
Yeah.
The passes that hit perfect diamond, hit their hands and drop. And
it was insane.
We were driving home and one of the guys on 770 CHQR post game show was talking about how you have to alter your hands to catch the ball when it's underneath your waist or at your waist or below. The guy had time to do that. I don't remember what receiver it was, but there was a clear play where he catches that ball, he falls backwards, he's in the end zone. It's a touchdown for the Stampeders. Instead, it hits him in the hands and he drops it. At first, and I will be first to claim, I blame Jake Meyer for that because I've seen him throw anything beyond 8 yards inaccurate.
But on that throw,
it was accurate as shit. It was if you're asking for a perfect throw from a quarterback, that was it.
As a receiver, you have one job.
Catch the bloody ball.
And what did they do?
I don't care if you block. I don't care if you block for the rest of the game. I don't care how good your route running is. When the ball is thrown to you, you catch the ball in the red zone. 2 hands on the ball.
Insanity. Just one of those games where I'm glad I'm not a fan of the Stamps. I mean, the Stamps are my second team, but I'm not as passionate about them as I am.
Oh, you would have lost it.
It's inconceivable that these guys are getting paid to play this game. Yep. Inconceivable.
Yep, I completely agree. And to be fair, we're picking on the Stamps. It also was the Bombers that game. There was no consistency from Drew Brown.
I'm talking about both teams.
And I get it. Drew Brown is a backup. No matter what some CFL guru says on a show, he's a backup quarterback. There's a reason for that. He is not as good as Collaros, and he proved that.
He sure did. He made me look bad. The bastard.
He made for those who don't know, for those who
I was giving him the props.
The old man gave him props on the Rod Peterson show, and then he proceeded to have a game like that.
Huh.
But yeah, so you want to talk about the concession and we brag about it we rag on it all the time. McMahon Stadium. So at halftime, again, that wind had picked up. It was a little chilly. The old man was like, "I'm still hungry." So we're like, "I want a hot chocolate. Let's go get you some food." So we go up and we get in line at the nearest. Like we get up into the concourse 2 minutes after the halftime starts. Like
we literally, as halftime ended, we walked up and it took a minute and a half to get into line.
Halftime started. Sorry.
Yes. And when did we get back to our seats? And we didn't do anything but stand in line, get our food, and go back to our seats. I was
gonna say we didn't go to the washroom. We literally got in line and waited. By the time we got our drinks, literally 2 drinks, 2 hot chocolates, and a piece of pizza. And there was what, maybe, and I'll be very generous, there's what, maybe 10 people ahead of us?
Maybe 10. It
And
wasn't that long of a lineup.
And a couple of them were pairs, so like maybe 8 total purchases altogether.
Okay, we'll go with 8.
We didn't get back to our seats until 10 minutes into the third quarter.
It was
5 minutes.
9:48 when I sat down in my seat.
5 minutes into the first quarter, like 10 minutes left in the game, or in the third quarter, by the time we sat down. How how are you supposed to make money off of concession? Because you're not making money off of your tickets. You're not spending
people. There were still 10 people in line behind us.
You're not
spending. And the guy that was serving us was like my age. Oh yeah, I'm going to go get you your hot chocolate. And then he comes back with our 2 hot chocolates. And then he's got to go and get our lids.
4 trips to get 2 hot chocolates.
And then he brought back the lids. Oh, 1 sec. And he went away again because he had to get sleeves for the hot chocolate. That wasn't that hot, I might add. And he brings back the sleeves. And then it took him about 1.5 to 2 minutes to put the lids on the hot chocolate and the sleeves.
Then had to grab the pizza.
And that was an ordeal. I was staying as pleasant as I possibly could, given the time.
I didn't say anything. I just stood behind you, grabbed my hot chocolate, and started leaving because, like, holy balls.
I thanked the gentleman, and I looked at the guy behind me who was just killing himself laughing and said, "Now we understand why it took so long." And I walked away. They've got to do something with the concession stands at the... Come on, guys. There was maybe 18,000 people at the stadium on Friday night.
Put it this way. Our busiest time when I was 15, worked at Dairy Queen, we had Miracle Treat Day every August.
Yes.
I believe it just passed a couple weeks ago. Last week, maybe. On Miracle Treat Day, we probably served, and I could be very high in this estimate, about 5,000 to 10,000 people who just wanted blizzards. That's all we did. All you did that day was blizzards. You'd have one person to do the cook. Everyone was on staff to do blizzards. If we took half the amount of time that one guy did for the same amount of, like, let's just say 3 blizzards instead of 2 hot chocolates and a pizza, we would have been pulled aside and said, "What's wrong? You need to speed up." And that's the urgency you need to work with when you're doing a concession. And it wasn't just our one line. It was the entire line. Like, everywhere.
Nobody moved ahead. Like, it wasn't like the line to our left was moving any faster.
Absurd.
It was insanity.
Could you imagine going to a Flames game and getting service that slow?
You just... It wouldn't happen. Because the Flames understand money talks. And get them give them their drinks, get them back into the seats so they can drink that drink and come back and get another one.
But it's owned by the same company.
It's not run by the same people. That's the problem. Same owners, different people running the shows. That's a whole different story for another ball game.
That is. So let's jump in to Saturday's game. The Alouettes and the Ottawa Redblacks. And I'm going to preface this with, I was bored on Saturday. I didn't do much this weekend. It was quite nice. I went to the football game and did absolutely nothing else this weekend. It was fantastic. Great weekend. Would recommend. However, when you do nothing all weekend and you're like, perfect, there's a game on at 5. I'll turn on SportsCenter at 4:30. You lay down and you accidentally have a nap until halftime. You missed the entire first half of the football game you wanted to see. I saw the second half of the game, which really looked like it was the half to watch, because the first half there was turnover after turnover after turnover. The second half was a lot of fun.
I was busy that Saturday, so I didn't watch any of this game.
The Redblacks had the lead going into the second half.
Was there a rain delay in this game?
No, I believe that was in the Edmonton Tiger Cats game.
Oh, right. Okay. Carry on.
The Owls and the Redblacks. Yeah, Redblacks were leading going into the second half. There was like 3 turnovers by Montreal. And I was like, perfect. Just in time to watch. This will be great. Ottawa's going to get the win. Keep the Eastern crossover alive, because I would love to see it. As much as would love to see a Calgary in the playoffs because Edmonton's not. Let's face it. Saskatchewan could, and I don't want to see that. So the best bet for me is to have Ottawa cross over. It'd be fantastic. But the Red Blacks, just as the Stampeders, just fell apart in the second half. And it was wild football. It was turnovers and craziness. And just when you thought the Red Blacks had it out of reach, the Alouettes came back, and it was the 1 point game, 25-24, very low scoring for the CFL. Like all of these games this week were pretty low scoring, except for the
and close.
This is the only game I can say it felt like a 25-24 game the entire second half.
Oh, cool.
It was a lot of fun to watch.
So you got L's playing with their food.
So there was a thought process going through my brain when doing this, but also watching the game, is that did the Owls come in and think too highly of themselves and were just didn't come to play at 100% the first half? Because looking at the highlights and looking at everything, they didn't look like the same team that even came out for the second half or the Alouettes that I've seen for the rest of the season. Now, some people are blaming the curse on their red jerseys because they haven't won a game hadn't won a game in the red jerseys until today or this week, which I find very hard to believe.
So is L's playing with their food an analogy, or what is it? I don't get it.
The Alouettes, the team, they're playing with their food, and then they realized that they couldn't just play around with their food because the Red Blacks came to play, so they had to wake up in the second half.
That's a Jakeism.
That's something
that's a Jakeism. I'm going to say there's people watching. If anybody's ever heard of a football reference of a team playing with their food because they're not playing well, please make a comment, because I've never heard this before.
You've never heard the analogy of a team playing with their food?
No.
You do not watch enough sports.
Maybe you know what it is? I think you probably heard it on your Nerd Sports.
No, this is like CBS and TSN and ESPN and like TNT, like big name things. Like, I mean, excluding Charles Barkley because his references are wild sometimes. So very normal reference.
Did you do edibles before you came up with this one?
No. It was about 5 to 10 minutes before I ate, and I was very grumpy and just wanted to get this over with.
Okay, carry on.
Let's jump into the last game of the week. Maybe you'll have some sort of insights on this one. The BC Lions lose to the Riders in a 29-34 game. And it was just
I'm not gonna lie. This one really, really hurt.
It was a disappointing effort.
Dee's back, and she just missed a hot take. Go back, rewind. It was good. I don't get it.
I think I don't know, my brain went to when you said rewind. My brain literally was like, do I have to like rewind and say what my hot take was again? Didn't click that people were watching on YouTube.
I love you, Jake. I blame his mother. She's probably watching, going to give me shit again. I'm not going to lie. This one's really freaking hurt. And I think it was the fact that they came back in the fourth quarter and made a game of it. So I had a little bit of hope. But you can't play one quarter of a 4-quarter game and expect to win a freaking ball game. And that's what the Lions did. And they almost pulled it off. If not for number 59, who, if I'm coach, that man is running so hard for the next 5 days, he's puking.
There was multiple times that there was, I believe the play you're referring is sorry, who are you referring to?
Number 59.
The tackle or guard for the Lions on the right side. Just a terrible game.
Well, like,
but the problem is,
I think 3 in a row. Was it 59 or 57? There was 3 whistles in a row for illegal procedure, all on the same play. I think it was 57.
Well, so that is, you can't blame on the players. That is when Vernon Adams was taken out and Dominique Davis
Yes, that's
stepped
exactly
in.
what it was.
So what happens is
But why
there's
is it one player every time?
It wasn't one player every time. They called his number 3 times. It was not him. If you go back and watch the film, it was the wide receiver one of the times. It was the opposite side of the line, and then it was him. And they called him for all 3 times. Because I was watching, and I was like, that's stupid.
And then number 59, I think he got called for like 35 holding penalties during the game.
But the problem is we already have our backups in. We didn't have another CFL ready lineman who could fill in at that spot.
That's the problem.
Right? So normally you'd be like, "Okay, you're out for a series. Think about what you did. We got someone to jet in." But we don't have that right now because we already had.
I'm going to run you till you puke, you mother.
Well, and I hope the defensive backs, every single one of them, from Gary Peters to I can't think of his name, the other one that's really good. They're all running. They're all running until everyone pukes.
As I said on my post after the game, it was just an embarrassment. And if I'm coaching, there's going to be some angry practices this week.
And not just that, but then you also look at Rick Campbell choosing to challenge when he did.
Sorry, I'm just reading your tall giant QB.
Yeah, we'll get to that. The Rick Campbell decides to challenge at the worst possible time on something that shouldn't be challenged.
Well, see, that's funny because Rod, not a BC Lions fan, literally that was the one he said the league got wrong because that wasn't a block. He wasn't blocking. He just grabbed him and threw him down. It doesn't matter if he threw him down hard or if he just did this.
That's a block.
He could have sprained an ankle. There could have been an injury on that play, and it was unnecessary roughness.
No, it's not. He's no longer a quarterback. All his protections leave as soon as he screws up and throws it into the hands of the other player.
And throws it in let's call it an interception, Jake.
Yeah, he's no longer a quarterback at that point. He is now a defensive player, and he was not held. He was blocked. He
was held and thrown down. Go back and look at it.
Inside the square of your shoulder pads, you're allowed to grab. That's all he did. And it's not his fault that the quarterback flopped, gave a perfect 10 performance. There was 2 other calls prior to that. One of the very first plays of the game that there was clearly a hit and the ball landed. And there was no challenge flag or no penalty flag thrown. And I can't remember what the second one was.
The clothesline, whatever you want to call it. It was like bent Adams over backwards. I mean,
that was way later. That was way later in the game. I think the other one I was thinking of was the punt return where the guy came in with his head first. Clearly with his head first.
It's not Dad calling you wrong. You read the comment.
He was not in the pocket because he had run forward from where he was in the pocket.
Go back and look at it.
I'll go back and look at it. If the CFL ever put up...
when you do, I want you to publicly apologize to Mr. Rod Peterson for being wrong. I love this. Anyway, what are you doing? What are you looking at? Don't look over there. I'm over here.
What quarter was that in? Fourth quarter?
You're not going to go look at it now. We're in the middle of a freaking podcast,
Okay, then I will watch it. I will watch it after the podcast. And tomorrow, if I am incorrect, I will message into the show and Rod, please read it out and I will apologize. However, he had run forward to make the pass. Therefore, he's no longer in the pocket because he was ahead of linemen during that play. Therefore, he's no longer in the pocket.
I have no comment. Why do you call this guy a tall giant quarterback?
The guy is 6'7". So Jake Dolagala gets his first start of, I believe, this year. This is his second start of his CFL career. And the first thing I thought of, because I know, I knew who he was beforehand, but the ball was snapped to him, and I swear to God, the the center probably had to get an extra half a foot of air on that ball to get into his hands, just because the guy's taller by about 4 or 5 inches than most other quarterbacks in the league. And when he went to drop back, it looked awkward. And I don't think it had anything to do with his mechanics. It's just that he was so tall that when he took his step back, he was already an extra 2 yards deeper than every other quarterback in the league. The football looked like a kid-sized football in his hand.
Now I keep meaning
And then,
Oh, go ahead.
And then when he took off to run, it was as if he was a 5'9" running back with the agility he had. Like the skill set on that guy, I don't know how he's in the CFL. To me, it's an impressive set of skills when you're that tall and you're playing quarterback.
Well, it was funny because we had Jim Barker on the Rod Peterson show, and he was saying when you're that big of a quarterback, it becomes harder to protect you.
Which makes sense, right? There's more pieces to grab. But the guy was so agile at getting out of the pocket, and I will give credit where credit's due. The O-line for the Riders held the Lions at bay most of the game.
Well, yeah. I mean, they did. They did.
Most of the game. There was parts where they got through, but nowhere near as much as against Calgary.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Right? Like, in back-to-back games, looking at it, Calgary looked like a terrible O-line. Saskatchewan looked like a very good O-line.
It's going to be interesting now with the Riders winning and Calgary losing. It's going to be an interesting second half of the season because I still think they're going to fight over that third spot. But now you look at Edmonton, they've got the one win, and they play back-to-back against the Stamps.
They get one of those. They get both of those wins because I think right now the Elks are on the up. Stampeders have shown that they're on the down. Is it possible? Could we see the Stampeders finish last?
Will it be? It will be the first time, I think I read, since 2005 that the Stamps haven't made the playoffs.
Think about that. I was 12.
Yeah. Figure that, really.
I'm now 30. That's 18 years.
Yeah. That's insane. That's insane when you think about they've gone that long and have made the playoffs it's a smaller league. I get it. The first person who says it, I'm going to reach to the screen and give you a freaking slap across the head because that drives me crazy. Oh, but it's only a 9-team league. Yeah, somebody has to make the playoffs.
Now,
I don't remember. We moved here in 2002 or 2002. One of those two.
2002.
And it seems
March
like
of
almost
2002.
every year since we've been here, then they've made the playoffs. Pretty impressive.
And for most of the
Rod, you. He's just egging me now. I'm gonna reach through the screen and what's the word? Bitch slap him. I could say that because we're not on the Facebook. We're just on YouTube.
I think you could see him tomorrow and do that.
I think I'm going to.
Any final comments
on the time he tried to kill me with a hockey ball to the head?
Oh, please tell the story. But yes,
I was standing there minding my own business as I usually do because I'm.
Where were you?
Oh, sorry. We were at.
No one's going to be able to
hockey lanes. If you guys are in Calgary, you got to check this place out. It's really, really cool. It's like it's hockey's batting cage, hockey's driving range. If you're looking at golf, you go there. They've got simulated ice. You could wear your skates, take shots at cowbells, which apparently Rod Peterson can't hit, but he can hit the rim of my hat and knock it off my head with a hockey ball.
And sorry, I'm just going to interject here. You started the story by saying you were completely quiet, innocent, and in no way responsible for this.
I'm going to call. Jake. You know me,
and I'm calling bullshit. And I'm calling.
You know me. You know how calm, cool, and collected I am. I don't trash talk people. Rod tries to claim that I was trash talking him. I don't do that. I'm too nice of a guy to trash talk people.
Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And for no reason whatsoever, Rod shoots the ball at my head.
And if you believe that he had nothing to do with this, was completely innocent, I have a bridge to sell you. Connects Brooklyn to Manhattan.
You have to look at the chat.
But did he hit you? Or did he just hit your hat?
Literally, Jake, it was one time he could ever do it. He shot 50 balls at cowbells that, I'm not kidding, like are this big. Inside a regular size hockey net, there's 9 of them. He couldn't hit one, and he pegged.
And because of comments like that, he turned around and said, "Accuracy, I'll show you," and took your head off.
I might have said, "You suck at this," and literally turned around and he pegged off the top of the hat, like right there. And the funny thing is, the lady that runs it, Michelle, what a sweetheart. Without missing a beat, she looks at us and she goes, "I have to tell kids when they come in not to shoot pucks at each other, and here you are, adults doing it." It was quite funny. Anyways, check them out. Check out Overtime Lanes if you're in Calgary. Great concept. You could have a ton of fun. You go there with a couple buddies. They have it's fully licensed. You can have a drink while you're doing it.
I was literally just about to ask, are they fully licensed?
Yeah, fully licensed, and they have a bar, like a little bit of a restaurant, like a little menu. Nothing fancy. So yeah, we should go there one day without Rod.
I mean, I'd prefer to bring Rod.
Hockey players.
I mean, at least I have skates I can get sharpened up and go out onto the rink with.
Oh,
yeah.
You don't have to. You can wear shoes on it too. So
fair.
Cool.
Well, now we get to probably my funnest segment of the entire week. I put out a post today, and I don't know if you noticed the post, but the colors were a little bit eepy through.
I saw that, and I was like, "You jerk."
For those who don't know, I'm talking about the Hughes Sports Power Rankings for Week 11. And I want to say this. I want to preface this. I knew exactly what I was doing. Those colors were set from 3 weeks ago.
That's what I figured when I looked at them. I'm like, those are old.
Those are definitely old. So we have a brand new Power Rankings. Let me tell you, there's been a lot of changes because last week, someone may have forgotten to do this in any shape, way, or form.
How do you forget to do your Power Rankings?
Well, last week was a vacation.
It was kind of a weird week. I'll agree.
It was. Last week was a weird week. So
the energy was weird in the world last week. So this week we're going to do it.
This week we're back to normal. So
number 9.
In number 9, we still have the Edmonton Elks, despite winning. They've won one game all year. I can't put them any higher than that. In number 8,
this will be good.
The Hamilton Tiger Cats. They lost to the Edmonton Elks. How can I put them higher than any other team?
That's true.
Of all teams,
whoever lost to the Edmonton was dropping drastically.
Precisely.
How far did they drop? Oh, you didn't put that in this week.
I didn't put that in this week because I didn't do one last week, so there's no way for me to say.
Yeah, okay.
I believe they stayed exactly the same from 2 weeks ago. In number 7, the Ottawa Redblacks.
Oh. Interesting.
In number 6, the Calgary Stampeders.
I might have reversed those, but okay. I mean, you could have an argument for both ways.
Now, the reason I did this, and you're not going to be able to see it on my screen, but on my screen, I have the standings up. Right now, if the season was to end, the Redblacks would finish 3-7, and so would the Stampeders. The Stampeders have more points for than the Redblacks do.
Okay.
And only 2 points against difference. So that's where the 6 and 7. I can understand if you swap them around too.
Yeah.
But in number 5, we have the Watermelon Heads, the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Despite a win this week, I could not put them in my top 4. Because number 4, we have the Montreal Alouettes. Team that just quietly, and I say quietly because I don't think they get enough respect.
They get no respect.
The league.
Fajardo is burning it up down there.
Well, and not just that, but they're also in the shadow of Toronto. So they're doing good, but they're not Toronto level. But they're matching pace with BC and Winnipeg.
Are you okay? Before you open the next three, did you do something just to piss off the Smurf Mafia, or were you being serious here?
In number 3, we have your beloved BC Lions.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
After a very disappointing loss, I could not find it in me to put them ahead of the Blue Bombers this week. And it took a lot in me.
I could have put them into 4th and agreed with you and put Montreal up to 3rd, to be honest.
And there was discussion in my if this was completely objection, like if I was able to step back and take off my orange sunglasses, I probably agree with you.
Yeah.
However, I personally believe that the BC Lions are a better team than the Montreal Alouettes.
I want to make a comment on the weekly power rankings, but carry on.
And number 1, we still have your Toronto Argonauts because I believe they are the team to beat this year, followed by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in 2nd.
I'm glad you did it that way because the Smurf Mafia was going off today about how they're number one. They're number one. And I'm like, yeah, no. Toronto's still number one. They've only lost 1 game. But we've won 8. We've won 8. And I'm like, but you've lost 2.
Yeah.
Which puts you in 2nd. If a team has only lost 1 and you've lost 2, that puts you in 2nd. I had to talk slowly for them. Now, question for the power rankings.
Yes.
Should power rankings not be based on the performance of that week, or are they accumulation of everything?
They're a culmination of everything. Otherwise, every week you'd have completely different results. You wouldn't, if it was just the week, Argonauts wouldn't be on the power rankings. They did not play.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah.
If it was that way, it would have been a completely different array because, I mean, the Elks won. They probably should have. If you're looking at it just from last week, the Edmonton Elks would have been ahead of Calgary, BC. Like, they beat a team that's that's right now in a playoff position.
It's pretty simple.
But it's not that. It's a culmination of every single thing that has happened up to so far, plus my opinion. Let me stress this enough. My opinion of how good the teams are.
Are you allowed to do that? Are you allowed to have an opinion? Because you're not part of the Smurf Mafia.
Well, let me just do something here. Let me just do something here. I'm gonna click that button. What's the name of the show?
Let me think here. It's not the Smurf Mafia show.
Nope, definitely not. I
believe it's called the Hughes Sports Podcast.
Okay, so now I might have been prepared for something question like this. Now, normally we don't have these on, but I felt like it was necessary today, and I had no idea why. This is why. What's the name I'm pointing at right here?
Hughes.
Oh, so my fucking show, my goddamn opinions,
our show,
our goddamn opinions.
Because way over there.
And let me tell you something, Smurf Mafia.
I'll never get this right, Jake.
it takes some time. Don't worry. I had like 3 classes of professional training in this, and I still get it all screwed up. If your team is as good as you think they are,
start your own fucking podcast.
Not just that. Let's look back. How many weeks ago when did I start doing? Let's try this again. When did I start doing the power rankings for the CFL? Week 1. Okay, so post peak week 1. Every time I do it, it's always the week.
Yeah. It was for
week 11 was put out. Yeah. So
I know we got to slow it down for the Mafia.
So since I posted that in the CFL chatter and in all the other CFL groups on Facebook, because we are trying to start something here. We're trying to gain notoriety. You
mean we make posts to get attention?
And it works?
Get out, Jake.
How many power rankings did you see before I started posting mine?
None.
And how many do you see every week now?
Everybody. Literally, there's like 30 of them every week now. It's hilarious.
And you know what's great is it's great because they post theirs and it goes nowhere and they feel important. They feel good about themselves. And that's great. You know what? I hope everyone feels great about themselves when they post on Facebook. However, in 5 years, 4 years, 10 years, when this podcast is big and You guys on CFL chatter were like, I was an original listener back in the day, don't you know? I used to comment and have conversations with the hosts.
With who?
I'm saying in 5-10 years when we're
Yeah.
when people are listening to us, they'll be the ones. I used to listen to them before they got big. They changed. They didn't used to be this way. No, we're the same assholes. And it's probably why we'll never grow up and be big enough to be on the radio. And I'll say this in the nicest way possible because I'm not going to be able to hold my mouth shut.
Because we're irrational fans.
We're irrational fans.
It says it right in the title.
We are irrational fans. And we almost got through the entire podcast without me getting to this. But it's the name of this week's podcast is BC Lions Didn't Show Up, Winnipeg Fans. We touched on it in Nathan Rourke, but you guys are so goddamn delusional. It's like you guys think that the past 100 years didn't happen in the CFL, and you guys have been good the entire existence of the CFL. They are God's gift to the CFL. No, I'm just gonna Google this here. And I know you guys don't have a lot of things going on in your life in Winnipeg. You guys have a Jets team that, count on it, next year is going to be worse than the Canucks.
Oh, how about that?
You guys have 12 Grey Cups since joining in 1930. The one before you, the most recent one, 2019. Again, you've won 2 in the last 4 years. Two in the last 4 years. Let's remember this. 2, not 3, not 4, 2. You know who else has done that? Toronto's done that recently. Calgary did that recently. Shit, I think Ottawa came close to winning 2 in 3 years. You guys aren't that good. Are you guys the cream of the crop? Last year, yes. The year before, no, because there was no season. The year before that, no. You guys got extremely lucky to get where you were.
And guess what?
You lost to Toronto last year. You lost to Toronto last year. You barely beat Calgary this week. And again, I'm saying this, Jake Meyer gave you guys that game on an interception. If that interception doesn't happen, they beat you by 6 points because they go down and kick another field goal.
Yep. 100%.
Your first string quarterback couldn't score a touchdown on BC's Lions defense when we were full health. You guys beat us by 30-odd points with our third string quarterback.
They don't want you to talk about that, Jake.
Third string. Third. Not first. Not second. Third. You guys again barely beat Calgary with your second string quarterback. Your first string quarterback literally almost threw away the game to Edmonton. So you guys want to start talking about, oh, we're the best team. Look at Toronto. Don't look at BC. Look at Toronto.
Toronto's the best team in the league.
Look at what Toronto's doing. They're doing it. They're doing it classy. Do you see how many fans Toronto has? No. You know why? Because they know that when they start chirping and shit goes south, they'll be the first ones to be made fun of. And let me tell you, when Winnipeg doesn't host a game next year in the playoffs, prediction right now, August 21st, 2023, 2024 postseason, the Blue Bombers will finish third in the West.
In this season or next season?
Next season.
2024.
2024. They will be behind the BC Lions as long as Vernon Adams stays healthy. And Saskatchewan, led by Jake. End of story.
What gets me about their fans is
none of them have seen playoff success before. They lost for 40 straight years.
What gets me with their fans is no other team can do anything right. 27,000 announced attendance, don't go there. 27,000 sold tickets for the Riders game. That's freaking phenomenal. That's 7,000 more than any other game this week.
Oh, but at IG Field we get 27,523.
No. It was. Oh, there's no way that was 27,000. Why can't you just say, "Oh, that's good for the league," like we do? We had 30,000, and we were like, "Yay!" Edmonton had over 27,000 in the home opener. Yes, Calgary, we need to get attendance better in Calgary.
But even still, like
Montreal's getting decent attendance. Toronto's starting to come up in the attendance things. Why can't Winnipeg just accept the fact that the league's doing well?
Even still,
why do Bomber fans have to be, oh, we're the best. I don't care about anybody else. They all suck. Shut up, you fucking idiots. And
even
listen.
still, so we know, and it was a point of contention before we even got on the podcast, so I'm not going to go there. Announced ticket sales versus asses in seats, very different. We're not getting into that debate right now. We're already over time. However, looking at the numbers right now, Calgary had 20,000 tickets sold. Hamilton had 20,900 tickets sold. Ottawa had 19,475. Regina has 27,483.
Damn good.
6,500 more than any other team this week.
And if the league would realize, if they would take that 5 o'clock Sunday start in Regina, I don't care about any other place. If they take the 5 o'clock start in Regina and move it to a 1 o'clock start in Regina or a 2 o'clock start in Regina, they're selling out. You got to remember, people drive 3-4 hours to go see a game in Regina. They don't do that in Winnipeg.
Well,
they do it in Regina because they're diehard fans.
Well, and I hated it when people were like, oh, it doesn't look that full. Yeah, neither did Calgary. Calgary didn't look like it had 20,000 people in there. But that's beside the point. It's also on a Sunday night at 5 o'clock.
Anyway, that's my rant for the day.
Which is 5 o'clock our time in Mountain Time. Are they on the same time zone as us right now? Because they swippy swap. Okay. So the game's was done by what? 8:15? 8:30?
8:30, call it, yeah.
So let's say 8:30 they were done. Now, it's not in the most convenient place to get to Mosaic Stadium. Say it takes 20 minutes to get out of the stadium into your car and out onto the road.
Now you're 9 o'clock.
So now you're looking at 9 o'clock. The average person in Saskatchewan is probably waking up at about 6 o'clock in the morning to work.
Yep.
Not to account for the farmers who wake up at the crack of dawn, which is a lot larger of a portion than it is in 90% of the league.
Oh, I would say the rest of the league. Like that's the highest amount for sure.
100%. So someone who normally goes to bed at 8 o'clock, they're happy to stay awake till 9 o'clock watching a game on TV. But they're not going to be happy going to a game.
When I used to go up to PA, Prince Albert in Saskatchewan, back when I was with Yisk, they would literally load up 4 to 5 full-size buses, Greyhound-sized buses, and they would drive down to a game on a Sunday because the game started at 1. They could go to the game, they could party it up, and they'd be home by 10 o'clock at night.
That's perfect. Because on the way home, they're able to relax. They're able to calm down. If it's a win, they're partying. They're not even partying, but they're having a good time. They get home, they relax, and yeah, it sucks. It's a couple hours later, but
that's not happening at 5 o'clock on a Sunday because now figure it out. You're not onto the bus till 9, and now what are you 3 hours outside of Regina? So you're not home until midnight.
And then getting from where the bus drops you off to wherever you live, because let's face it, half the people are probably coming from 20 minutes plus away.
Exactly.
1 o'clock in the morning by the time you go to bed.
It's, to me, the league's got to figure this out. They really got to figure it out.
And I will give all the props in the world to Amar Doman. He figured it out in BC and said, no, we're going to have 4 o'clock games.
Yeah.
I don't care if that means we're playing on a Thursday and then a Sunday, or if we're playing on a Saturday and then a Thursday.
Well, see, he would rather on a Sunday play 1.
Yeah, 100%. Right?
But the league is following. Well, I should rephrase that. TSN wants Sunday night football.
That's nice.
That's why they're doing it.
You have TSN. Come here. Listen up. Turn up if you work anywhere in TSN, just turn me up a little bit. I'm going to talk a little quiet. I'm going to talk very slow. You have 5 channels. 5. 2 of them are given away with your basic cable package, TSN 1 and TSN 2. So, you got CFL on one channel, you got NFL on the other channel, and you know what you can claim? You are the home for football in Canada.
Really? Could you do that?
I mean, I'm not a marketing genius here, but I do work in marketing. You can claim things that aren't true as long as you put a little star and a disclaimer, like Sunday nights on TSN or Sunday afternoons on TSN are the home of the football. Period. And then you know what you do? Take it another step. You've got channel TSN 3 and you put on another NFL game. And you got TSN 4 and you put on another NFL game. Then you got TSN 5, and this might be a little bit of a change up for you. You put on a footy game. You put on an MLS game.
Oh, really?
Because then you're the home of football in Canada.
Huh.
Whether you're looking at footy, as in European, the rest of the world football, you're talking NFL, which has way too many games on a Sunday, or you're talking the one CFL game you have every single week. It's not rocket science, folks. How can we all jokes aside, how do we understand? How do we get this? And the zombie suits at TSN don't.
You people need to start listening. And on that note, where can they find your power rankings and the reason?
Well, you'll be able to find
rankings?
You'll be able to find my power rankings uploaded tomorrow with a little description as to why I put them in different places, as well as I might even try playing around with like clipping out the power ranking reveal and putting it on the website. But we'll see how that works. You can check us out on hughesports.ca. You can go to the website right underneath me there, or right above me, that little QR code.
Oh,
scan
really?
Scan that little QR code. See where it takes you.
I want to try that.
I'll tell you, it takes you to hughesports.ca.
Look at that.
Look at that. It worked. I don't know what article. Someone scanned the QR code. Thank you so much. That's you, old man. It actually does alert us every single time someone will scan that QR code. So if you guys want to check us out, please do. Everything we post is on there. I didn't even get into my NHL rant today from EA Sports, and that's good. You know what? That's a good sign because we don't have another half hour to go.
No.
Because the old man said he wasn't feeling great to begin with today. And I was like, perfect. We'll keep it short. We'll keep it to an hour.
An hour and 22 minutes later, we're still trying to figure a way to say goodbye.
Well, no,
we haven't
figured out a way
that out yet. Oh, yes, we have.
We did figure out a way to say goodbye. But however, before we go, old man, where can they find you?
They can find me at Cavelli Channeling. Ooh, try that again. Cavelli Channeling on Facebook or KevHughes_64 on Twitter, where I put out some funny stuff sometimes.
Funny stuff, some annoying clips.
And if you go to Cavelli Channeling and you mention you listen to Kevin the Medium on Hughes Sports Podcast, I will give you $25 off your first reading.
There you go, folks. Little offer. I didn't even know it was coming. Again, mention Kevin the Medium and you listen to the Hughes Sports Podcast. When you book an appointment, you'll get $25 off your first reading.
And yes, I really am a medium.
But he cannot give you the lottery numbers, folks.
No, it's not the way it works. I talked to Dad.
Let me tell you, tomorrow, you'll be able to catch me on Twitch. We're going to be opening some cards to start the stream, which I think is going to be very, very fun to do. We're opening up a set of 91, 92 cards. There is a chase card that we have. I saw you starting to do it. I know.
Me again.
There's a chase card that we are chasing for Mr. Rogers in a hockey sports card, which I think is great. First off, Mr. Rogers is fantastic. Secondly, the fact that it's an actual card. If I pull that card and it's a graded 10, which I will find a way to get it graded, if it's a PSA 10, it's worth $270 Canadian, which is absurd to me because I bought these two boxes of these cards for $25.
Somebody else scanned the QR code. That's two people.
Somebody did.
Yes.
Well, that's 3 scans, 2 people, because you decided to do it twice.
Can I do it again?
I mean, you can do whatever you want. However, you can find me on Twitter at JStreamsHere, JEH Streams Here. You can find me on Twitch there as well. Also, one last thing I want to mention is that I'm starting to kickstart my Extra Life fundraising. Extra Life is an important cause to both me and the old man. It raises money for the Alberta Children's Hospital.
Great cause.
Great cause. Every year, it's a 24-hour stream the first week of November, which always ends up being a 25-hour stream because they always do it on daylight savings time, which means it goes from 2:59 to 2 o'clock in the morning every single time. And we go from, I think we're going from 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. this year. So 25-hour stream. If we raise $1,800, I will be doing a live open mic comedy routine. And let me tell you, it's nerve-wracking and terrifying, and I make no guarantees I will be funny, but I will be embarrassed, and that will be the entertainment for you. The first goal that I really want to hit is something we will do actually on this channel.
Why?
You agree to it. You agree to it. We are going to rewatch, and I can say this wholeheartedly, for the first time ever since it originally aired, me and the old man will come onto the channel, we'll choose a date and time, and we will rewatch the 2011 Game 7 Stanley Cup final between Boston Bruins and the Vancouver Canucks.
Can we put it on like 4 times the regular speed? So
Nope.
it's open. We have to watch it at regular speed?
Yep.
It's like pouring freaking like pure alcohol into a gaping wound, Jake.
Yep. I noticed, and that's,
how much
you know
do they
what?
have to raise to make me do this?
$500.
Why didn't you make that like $1,000 or $1,800? Why didn't you make that the $1,800?
Because I think a open mic night is worth a little bit more than the 2
No,
hours.
no. Because I'm just going to be at the open mic night laughing at you.
Well, yeah, but I wanted
you.
To be fair, I did ask you about this, and you were like, "Yeah," and then instantly I was like, "He has no clue what I was talking about." So
no, I didn't. I said yes before I realized
what was going on. But if you want to donate, I will be putting a link in the description as well as in YouTube here. I will find the link because I know I have it here somewhere in my computer.
But in all seriousness, folks, donate. It's a good cause. Children's Hospital helps a lot of people out. So, yes.
Yes. And on a selfish note, I want to beat, I'm doing it with 3 other people. Someone in Winnipeg, someone in Edmonton, and someone in Phoenix. And I want my fan base, the Vancouver, Calgary region, to raise the most money.
Because we're competitive.
And we're very competitive. So we might as well do it. We might as well go balls to the walls to get it done.
Cool. Okay.
However, that is the show for the week of August 21st. I appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. Please do like and subscribe, and good nights.